Cyclone Fani is approaching the coast of eastern India this afternoon as a Category 2 storm with winds of 105 miles per hour and a pressure of 965 millibars. That's roughly 170 kilometers per hour. It's a very severe cyclonic storm on the Indian scale. And this is the CDPS scale, showing the potential destruction from this storm still stands at stage 7, catastrophic, owing mainly to its wind speed, its growing wind field, and still its very high rainfall potential of up to 500 millimeters in some areas. Here it is right now. It's at 13.2 north, 85.1 degrees east, a Category 2 on the Saffir Simpson scale, and it's likely to veer off towards the north over the next few days. 327 miles from Chennai right now, 331 from Visakhapatnam, 356 from Nellore, 501 from Cuttack, and 677 from Kolkata. And those numbers will continue to decrease in the next 24 hours and beyond. The yellow zones there, pretty precautionary actually for tropical storm conditions in the next 48 hours. We don't really believe it's going to happen in those locations, but just to be sure, if it does veer off to the west a little bit more than we're expecting, maybe those coastal regions could receive tropical storm force winds. Here is what we're expecting though over the next few days. Towards the end of this week, the storm turning towards the north there and eventually striking, making landfall Thursday or Friday in Andhra Pradesh or Odisha. Both regions could be affected significantly from this storm regardless of where the landfall actually is, and then continuing up towards the northeast there, eventually reaching the Himalayas. The rainfall could also strike Bangladesh as well. Both of these areas very vulnerable to strong winds and of course the high amounts of rainfall. These are the surface temperatures right now. The rainfall amounts will of course be aided by a huge amount of moisture from those very warm sea surface temperatures, 30 degrees or higher. Temperatures on land in India very high today, around 47 the high in one or two regions. So over the next few days you can see the storm progressing towards the north there and intensifying quite possibly. The models are quite divergent on just how strong this storm's going to get. The HWRF thinks it's going to reach Category 4 status. The GFS I think is calling for just a little bit stronger than it already is, but I think we could be looking at a potential intensification phase right now. We'll talk about that more on the satellite. Storm to move inland, weakening pretty quickly. The GFS thinks the storm will not brush the coast but will move inland a bit more directly and weaken more quickly than other models might be predicting. Here are the chances of tropical storm force winds in these locations: 15% at Chennai, 60% in Visakhapatnam, 75% in Cuttack. That's the highest chance out of all of these major areas right now. 50% in Dhaka in Bangladesh. These are the intensity models. You can see the JTWC just about on a limb there, almost going with the HWRF at Category 4 status. Other models going a little bit lower. Wind shear is low to moderate. That could be one inhibiting factor for this storm. 10 to 15 knots right now. Sea surface temperatures are never going to be an issue. And there you can see the track forecast there. Interestingly, the JTWC taking it a bit further east than those models. I'm not sure whether it's just because those models might be a bit dated perhaps, and maybe the models have shifted a bit towards the east. Here is the storm in the latest satellite imagery. Visible imagery there. You can see the eye wall and potential eye maybe hidden underneath all of those clouds somewhere. And we won't really know how strong this storm is until that eye decides it wants to pop out perhaps, but certainly looking rather intense in those latest frames. Certainly very high cloud tops. Water vapor will show significant cloud heights there as well, and some of it already reaching land. We'll have more updates on this storm throughout this evening and tomorrow. Stay tuned. You can follow Force 13's outlets, the website force13.com. You can also find our YouTube channel. If you're not there already, you may well be. Good chance of that. Subscribe if you haven't. You can also find our Facebook page, search Force 13 all in text, and our Twitter handle, it's @Force13 on there. You can also help the project become even better by becoming a patron. You can see more information about all the benefits involved by visiting patreon.com/Force13. You can also contact me on Discord. It's Fool13 at extension 9094 and Force13 on Skype. You can also find our server link to our Discord server for tropical weather chat in our description.